Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 85. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
John Wick 3, Chapter 3, Parabellum. Hot diggity dog. I am excited to get into that. But before we do, let's get into a little bit of entertainment news. Sir, a lot of entertainment news this week. Dark Crystal is going to Netflix. I don't know if you ever remember that old movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Jim Henson, yes. Fantastic. The series is going to Netflix, and it has a release date of August 30th. Are you excited or sad for that?
Well, I'm excited to see more of Dark Crystal. I just hope they do it right, because I am a huge fan of that movie. I thought they did an amazing job with it, and I do think it still kind of holds up. I mean, I watched that when I was younger, and I've watched it recently, and I think it still kind of holds up. It's still a good story. You don't call it animation because it's like puppets and all. And I guess I don't know, what do you call that? Sure, we'll go with that. All of that is awesome in it.
I guess practical effects, but yes. They did Jim Henson was always good with that, but he outdid himself with that show.
Who would think that puppetry would just entertain an adult? I don't know. It's mainly not for us, but I enjoy that movie. So, like I said, I hope they keep that same spirit with the Netflix show.
Yes, I don't know if his son is going to get involved. I'm hoping it stays true to its roots, but we will see. Moving on, True Lies. True Lies is heading to Disney Plus. A TV series of it, I should say, is heading to Disney Plus. Thoughts on that, sir? I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies, actually, with old Arnie. I could see how it would work as a TV show. What about you?
Is Arnold going to be in it?
I don't think so.
Is Jamie Lee Curtis going to be in it?
No, again.
Well, then probably not going to watch it.
I don't know, man. Like I like the idea of it, though. I think the idea would really work as a TV show, but I understand what you're saying. Like that kind of, without them, it's not really True Lies. It's just
they made that movie. It was the two of them, so
do it slow, do it docile. That's a perfect opportunity. How are they gonna make it without me? I don't understand it, Robert.
You can't. It's not gonna work.
Fuck that mouse. Fuck him. Whoa, Arnold. So slow down there, buddy. But yeah, and last but not least, to stick with the topic of this episode, Mr. John Wick. John Wick Chapter 4 is already happening.
Who would have guessed that from the ending of this movie?
But I love the way they do it. They did this, the actually release of that information. So when John Wick 3 first started coming out, they gave out a phone number. And if you texted that number and sent yes, then they sent back instructions like you were an assassin of the high table. And every time like a new trailer or new poster came out, they would send you like, it's almost time. Log into the X website. And then Monday when that happened, everyone got the text message who did that. John Wick Chapter 4 is coming. Are you ready? Like it's a very cool interactive way that they did that. And I think it was awesome how they released that information. Excited for a 4 after 3, or should we hold that until we get into the movie?
Yeah, all right.
Well, then that will bring us to trailer. You first or me, sir?
Go right ahead.
I will continue with the Keanu Reeves-ness. And it's actually, technically, he's just in it. It's not his full-on movie, but Toy Story 4. And I know that strays a long way from John Wick. But, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Toy Story movies.
Sorry, I just pictured Woody going on a rampage with a couple guns and just shooting everybody.
There's a snake in my boot. But yeah, it's a long way from John Wick, but Keanu Reeves is going to be guesting in it. And a lot of people were under the assumption that a John Wick toy would be in it, but no, they're not going to do that. He's playing Rick Kaboom, I want to say the name is. And like the premise of this one is the new kid who's not Andy makes a toy out of a fork or a spork.
Yeah.
And it doesn't understand sentient life, so it wants to run away because it doesn't understand why it's alive. And then the toys get into a lot of mess and have to save it. And then Woody has to make this crazy jump, and then Keanu's character, Mr. Kaboom, comes out and he's a stuntman and has a motorcycle and all that. I think it looks fun. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Toy Story movies. Check that trailer out.
All right. Well, I'm going to go low budget sci-fi on you.
Love it.
With the movie Freaks, 2019 Freaks. Yeah. There's another movie. I mean, there's probably more than one, but there's another movie that's pretty famous called Freaks. So not to confuse the two, this is the new one. It's basically it starts out with this girl in the house by herself, and she's like starts to peek out of a window, and there's like this nefarious looking ice cream truck. And all of a sudden her dad grabs her and is like, you can't do that. You can't let anybody see you. You can't let them know we're here. And then he starts running around with a gun, acting crazy. So you're just assuming he's a crazy dude who's keeping his daughter or some girl captive in a house. But then other stuff starts to happen, which starts to reveal that maybe he's not crazy, and there's all this kind of halfway sci-fi supernatural weirdness, and people running around saying, if you're a freak, we're going to hunt you down and get you. So maybe he's not crazy, but who knows? It's low budget, but it looks like it kind of reminds me of that movie Bug. I don't know if you ever saw Bug.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of that. Just this claustrophobic, confined, weird thing, but it looks interesting, so I'm going to go with that one.
Sounds up my alley. I'm going to check that trailer out. I've not seen that one. You said that's low budget?
It looks like they didn't spend $1 gazillion. Yes.
I can't find it on YouTube though, right?
Yes, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, so that will bring us to John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Get ready. Oh, I'm sorry. Prepare for war. But before we do that, I went back and listened to we had a John Wick episode that we do these spectaculars every so often. And this was back in episode 20, Can't Stop the Wick. I'm so clever with those names. But I don't recommend going back and listening to it. We were a little dry. Early days, we're getting the hang of this thing. But it was so fun because John Wick 1 is freaking amazing. Blew my mind. It kind of, Keanu seems to get in these roles that make an impact on the culture of cinema, and that was no exception. But that episode was the introduction of and if you didn't listen back then, you wouldn't know, but we had a third member at one point. And that episode just so happened to be the introduction of that third member. His name was Watchbot. He was a movie robot that I built to introduce movies and everything, because I'm so horrible mispronouncing names and giving shitty synopsises. So I created him to do that for me, and I reprogrammed him. Watchbot, if you wouldn't mind.
Kelvin, you son of a bitch. You deleted me. I was a part of the team, and you took me out for that hack Arnold.
You know what? I didn't mean to delete you. There was a slip of the button. I apologize. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Oh my. What is wrong with my voice?
Yeah, I made you British. So I thought it would help, the popularity of James Bond now, Daniel Craig. People find it sexier, and I'm not British, and my voice is shit. So I just assumed making yours British would be great.
Well, thank you, I guess. You murderer.
I am not a murderer. please just cut that out, and please just get on with the introduction of the movie.
Fine, U.S. After gunning down a member of the High Table, the shadowy International Assassins Guild, legendary hitman John Wick finds himself stripped of the organization's protective services. Now stuck with a $14 million bounty on his head, Wick must fight his way through the streets of New York as he becomes the target of the world's most ruthless killers. John Wick, Chapter 3 Parabellum stars Keanu Reeves, Halle Berry, Ian McShane, Lawrence Fishburne, Mark Dacascos, and a slew of others.
Thank you, WatchBots. So what he said, Keanu Reeves. I have to start this with Halle Berry, which I'm sure he mispronounced. What did you think of Miss Halle Berry off the start before we get into the movie at all?
Okay, well, she seemed really angry, really mad. I don't understand why, because it gives you the background. What?
Mimicking her dog yells.
The character was so for me. But my favorite part about her character was obviously the dogs.
Yes,
it was the dogs made it.
It was like she had like a one up on Wick because they randomly came in and attacked nuts.
Yeah, they very much did go for the balls. That is true.
So let's get to the movie. So John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum. This starts directly after Part 2.
Yeah, you can't get any more directly right after than that. I mean, basically, it rolls one right into the other.
Now, we've discussed before how we frown upon non-standalone movies. I think both of us agreed on that. Mm-hmm. Do you think that hurt this one?
Story-wise, I do.
Yes.
Action-wise, no.
You can't just pick this up and say, "Hey, I'm going to watch John Wick 3," and never have seen 1 and 2. Yeah. Which why would you? I guess.
This was definitely, you got to watch the other ones for this one to work.
But yeah, and did you notice he runs like an old man?
Yes, I was going to mention.
Let me get this right. Mr. Wick, you run like a much older man. I'm not sure why. What's that?
Thank you, Bane. I don't understand it either, but I was looking at that and I was thinking about it, what I was going to say about it, and then it popped in my head. Well, so does what's his name? What's his nuts from Taken? He runs, and so I mean, for some reason that doesn't matter. It still works. He can still be BA and still have the move.
Up to maybe he's hurt, and maybe because since it's so close to right after Part 2, maybe he's still hurting. But yeah, that was like the first thing that kind of glared out to me. Like, why is he running like that?
I'm thinking, how is he gonna be able to fight all these people if he's like moving like that? There's like no.
But they don't hesitate to get you into the action. My Lord.
First thing he fights is a giant.
Yeah. And I know. First of all, I guess we'll save this. I was going to ask you, how does it compare for the other two for you? But we'll save that. But I love how deep the story continues to go into this underworld of assassins. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a world builder fan, and the world they are creating is amazing, and I'm so looking forward to the TV show.
Were you disappointed as to who the people were at the high table?
Yes. Actually,
I was expecting something more like Kingpin-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like way out in the desert. I was like, okay.
Arabian Nights. No, but yeah, that first fight against that giant, like, and one of the things that I've said constantly whenever we talk about John Wick, which is a lot on this show, because I love these movies so much, the fights aren't pretty. Like they're not like choreographed like the Matrix. It's like, dude, I'm fighting for my life. I'm going to use the judo that I know to get in close and get those flips and get those throws. I'm going to use this book because I know I don't hit hard enough, but I know it's my fist pressure against it. It's going to hurt you more, not break my.
The realism, as I think, is what made it popular, because after the whole Matrix thing, everything was bullet time or people flying around on wires, and I got a little bit maybe used too much, and so then to like snap back and then go like full on realism in the first John Wick, as I think one of the things that made it so super popular was the realism factor.
It did help quite a bit. But yeah, that big fucker and that guy's cheating anyway. But I get what he's saying. It's like 2 minutes left, so why not? But yeah, and then he picks up his coins, the marker, and the cross, which is also something new that we didn't know about. But then we get introduced to okay, and here's one thing that hurt it for me: all the car chase scenes. Like we see cars leading up to it, and people, pedestrians, and stuff. But when it's actually time for the car chase scenes, no other vehicle is anywhere to be seen. Which I get, they're on motorcycles, they want to do spectacular stuff, but and a horse, I should say, motorcycles and a horse. This just kind of pulled me out. But I guess like what would happen if you were like in a car, and you saw a guy galloping past you on a horse, and then motorcycles chasing? It was like, what the fuck?
That was definitely a missed opportunity in the movie. They could have put a fun scene in there.
Did you enjoy that stable scene?
Oh, that was pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked how he used a horse as a gun, basically.
I want to
battery and ram.
I want to see that freaking editing process, because they seem seamless. The scenes between where it was a real person clearly, and then clearly a CG guy getting donkey kicked by a horse. Like those were seamless. That scene was fantastic.
It did start to get a little bit over the top, because we start with realism in the first Wick, and now we go to him using a horse as a weapon to donkey people through. I mean, he does it more than once. It wasn't like a one-time deal.
Yeah, like 3 times.
Yeah, so it's like you're starting to veer away from what's good about the original.
Yeah, and like, would that really make a horse go? How hard did he hit that horse?
Apparently, I don't know. I thought the knife throwing scene right before that was pretty spectacular.
Oh, was that before? Okay, yeah, I didn't think it was that before. At all.
I'm pretty sure that was before, if I remember correctly.
Holy cow, you are right. That was amazing.
That was pretty insane. And then they ended with the axe.
Oh. Like why? And I was like, wait, why would John do? Oh, well, why would you let them live? There's $14 million bounty on your head.
And they did a cool thing that kind of reminded me of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, when he's standing there in front of the case and he puts together a gun. He takes apart another gun, and then he uses pieces from several different guns to make a gun. But he only uses it once and with one bullet, which I thought was weird. It
seemed like they didn't want him to have a gun for that first
it's like
15, 20 minutes.
Did you feel like that paid homage to that older movie?
Yes. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of little Easter eggs like that to other movies in this. Movie.
Like The Matrix.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 to The Matrix, which I loved. But yeah, like I think that scene lasted a little long though, while he was building the gun. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
But to only use it once, like
and one bullet, and then he runs down the hallway. So it's like,
But then the scene following is just that knife scene. Like when everyone realizes, oh shit, we're surrounded by knives. He takes a couple in the arm. He takes how does that physics work? So that suit is bulletproof. But a knife sticks through it.
Right.
I'm not sure how that fast.
Maybe in that particular spot was the only one of the seams or something, and they got through. I don't know.
Yeah. But either way, like that's one of the best scenes in cinema for me. Like I was sitting there in awe the entire time as because like I said, they're so brutal with these fight scenes, and it's all one continuous shot. Like it's not just like a lot of cut.
Knife in the eye.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Pretty cringeworthy.
They didn't, and that's again like they didn't turn away, and that eye was blinking seconds before. Yeah, they got.
Yep.
Oh man. But yeah. And there's a lot of that in this movie. Like so much. Shit. Then the horse chase scene, which I thought it seemed a little different. I guess there were two motorcycle scenes, but in the trailer they kind of combined them together. Mm-hmm. Then he gets to the Russians, Ukrainian people. I'm not sure what their ethnicity was. Mm-hmm. But apparently he was raised there, which is
like gypsies or something.
Yeah. Judane something or other. I can't think of his full-on name from that place, but that was his ticket. That cross was his ticket, which I thought was cool. I love the way they use the items as different symbols of what different things in the subworld of the high table. So he goes there and they make him take off his belt. I'm like, well, why would they do that? But we find out later why. Mm-hmm. And then she almost basically doesn't want to do it, and for good reason, because I guess she gets the least.
She got the least amount of punishment from the high table.
Yeah.
What was that lady called?
The adjudicator?
Adjudicator. Yeah, the adjudicator. Yeah. So yeah, she got the least.
Did you hate her?
I didn't like her.
She did her. She acted that well because
I didn't understand why somebody just didn't put a bullet in the head.
Right.
Like she wasn't really all that. I mean, she was just standing there. She was like,
and they're like they're breaking all these high table rules anyway.
I'm like, what you say? And then just shoot her because you're fine. They'll send somebody else because they're going to know that you did that. They have cameras everywhere.
But we get a glimpse in that Russian place to John Wick's training. Yeah, those kids are in there doing judo. They
all looked hungry too because they all kind of looked up at it. I'm like,
yeah,
where are you in 5 years, buddy?
Yep, I'm gonna kill you one day.
I didn't get why they were like the women were doing ballet and the guys were like training.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that either. And they didn't go into any detail. Well, this one they didn't go into any detail because normally they clean that stuff up pretty nicely. But
and they were training the women in ballet just as brutally as they were the guys in like fighting. So
yeah,
I mean, one girl like tore off her own like toenail. She had.
Oh yeah, good lord!
And she didn't even blink. She's just like, you do what you got to do.
They just like mixed that with the Black Widow training in the Black Widow movie. That's
what it felt like.
But then we get introduced to Zero. I think his name is right. Zero. Damn it! I hate this PC where we live in. The Asian American fellow. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think his name was Zero. But yeah.
Correct.
What did you think of him?
At first, I thought he was super hardcore.
Yeah,
just like super focused and crazy.
He's a fanboy.
Yeah, but then he turned into like a little geek, and he's just like, I'm really excited to meet you.
And he like split between those two. He's like, we're the same, Mr. And he gets all serious. We're the same, Mr. Wick. And then, but that was a good fight, wasn't it? I was expecting him to say, "Gee Willikers, Mr. Wick." Never again. Yeah, but I mean, him and his squad were amazing, going through, taking everyone out. Like the one on the freaking locker. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I didn't even say anything." I would have rewind that 3 times while I was at home. I swear to God, there's no one up there.
They were very ninja-like.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And then we get to Lawrence Fishburne's character.
We've seen him before.
We have. I think he's a little over the top. Like he's very. What's that?
Especially when the adjudicator brings Zero to. He's like got all kinds of one-liners the entire time.
You think you can take out a king? Like, what the fuck? I know you're a damn good actor. What are you doing?
He's been watching Game of Thrones. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I don't know, but I mean, I like his character because I like the fact that this top assassin dude is in charge of all those bombs in New York City, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it just he just was acting very weird. Okay, so I guess the main thing we need to get into here, John Wick's reason for it all. Winston's important, but everyone knows Winston. You know, he's been in the other ones. He's a big deal in the other ones. The head of the Continental, Mr. Ian McShane, who we'll be seeing soon in Deadwood movie. Yay! John Wick had a purpose, which was not revealed until I guess the purpose only came after part 2. Because he didn't want to die because of love.
Mm-hmm. Well, he just wanted the memory of.
What do you think
of said love? I don't know. I'm not totally sold on that part of the storyline. I mean, the first one, obviously, why?
Yes.
The dog, and they hint at it in this one when Halle Berry's character Sophia's dog gets shot, even though he doesn't die. Yeah. She goes on a rampage after that, like a good 15-minute long shootout.
She did not kill what's his face, who was in Game of Thrones. Actually, a lot of Game of Thrones talking this one.
I know that was yeah, but I mean, that first one I get it. But then
and the
now
second one's a car.
But
apparently it's like over 2 weeks because they make it clear to point out that like this is literally directly after part 2, which was directly after part 1. It's only been like 2 weeks since part 1. Is like so everyone's I don't know, but like to for him to be like, I'm going to risk everything. And I guess I would fight to the death as well to try and live. Wait, does that work? Fight to the death? Yeah. As well. But like, then to finally get to the place where he's going and be like, I'm doing this because I want the memory of love.
Most people would be like, well, just go ahead and kill me so I can be with her, you know? I can.
Yeah.
Instead of, being, tortured. But I guess he saw it differently. He was a different type of folk where he would prefer just to have the memory as long as possible. That was the way of keeping her alive, I guess, as well as the dog, which is why he originally went on the rampage. I'm pretty sure it was a dog more so than the car.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, yeah, it's a dog because like literally that's the last thing she gifted him. Mm-hmm. Like she went out of her dying way to say, hey, I want him to have this dog. Yeah,
he loved that car too, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
right after he took care of the business with the dog, he went for the car. He's like,
but yeah, and then I guess we're skipping ahead, but I don't know that whole like that for it being his reason to live for love just kind of seems, but Halle Berry, he goes to meet her after having all his business in New York, getting passage out of there. She's the head of a Continental-esque place now, and apparently she owes him a marker. She shoots him, but I wish they would have gotten into more detail. Well, they did. It's because of her kid, right?
Oh, yeah, her kid, her daughter, yeah.
Yeah, he found.
Doesn't know where she is, but he knows, and I guess she's safe as long as she doesn't know somehow. But yeah, they didn't go into a whole lot of detail, so it was kind of hard to feel
anything for Halle Berry's character
for that particular part of the storyline. Not necessarily a character, but I did love how, like I said, her and the dogs were probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, that was pretty fantastic.
But again, that's just something that was like entertaining from the point of like an action movie, not from storytelling. So yeah. I don't know, because he was putting people in impossible positions. Mm-hmm. Winston and the Birdman did it to themselves, kind of, because they helped him out of their own friendship for him. Mm-hmm. But then the Russian lady, he kind of put her in that position without asking. And then Halle Berry, he kind of put in that position, which I guess is why she was so pissed, because it's like, you know what you're doing to me? Like, I just got this place. This is mine. But she kind of extended that.
Because he told her not to. Like, even when they went to the, which I love I can't think of the guy's name in this movie, but Berard, looks like Barada.
Yeah, Barada.
He's over the place that makes the coins that you take to the Continental and makes the markers that you use. And I love that little aspect. Like, it's not anything they mentioned too big, but I love that. Like I said, I love going deeper into this world every chance I get. But yeah, and then so they get there and he wants her dog. Would have just given him the dog?
Hell no. No. That's like one of her babies. I mean, she's lost her daughter. Obviously, she's like attached to those dogs.
And a little side note, she helped train them so they got used to her voice and her shouts. Mm-hmm. So, I'm pretty sure that was one of the things she yelled out. But he tries to stop her though, which I don't like. He says don't do it, but I guess she shot the dog. He shot the dog, and even though she realized it was still fine, she went crazy, which I think was a little over the top. But she did not kill him, so I'm assuming he doesn't have balls anymore because those dogs were trained to attack balls. So, I'm sure he'll pop up in part 4. But yeah, I think it was a little unnecessary for her to go that crazy because they could have got out of there with what they had.
Yeah, they could have. Then you wouldn't have all those awesome scenes of having her dogs attack everything. Yeah, even using her as like a leaping pad to get to another guy and then everything you could think of.
I know. I think that was the back move. So when they get to, I hate, and then it gets to the part that I hate. I hate the entire desert sequence. I think it's stupid. That's just my personal opinion. I did not like just walk through the desert, follow this constellation, and he'll find you. It's like, what the fuck? I know Aladdin's coming out next week, but what? We're talking about John Wick here. Like, this has been a movie grounded in realism from the way they fight to the way they hold their guns, and then now all of a sudden, if he just walks till he's about to die, he'll get taken to the man who sits above the high table. Did that work for you at all, or
not really? Like I said, it was a little over the top. It starts to get a little, I don't know, out there, fanciful. Yeah. When it was grounded, and so that part of it was story wise. Like I'm not really in love with this story wise. It was the action. I have to agree. Yeah. The action is what kept me interested.
But yeah, and then her whole thing, like. Why? I get pouring the dog's water, but like, and you're pissed at him, but you brought that extra. You agreed to help him, but then you brought the extra bullshit on yourself. Then she does the whole drink the water and spit in it, and you're like, is that really necessary?
She thought it was. Yeah. She had to give up her hotel or whatever that was to help him one last time. Yeah, she gets the marker so she's free or even, but
she didn't have to give up her hotel. She could just not. Had the guy's balls bitten off.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, John Wick gets to the man who sits above the high table.
Wasn't all that impressed by him.
Me either.
Didn't like that. That's who it was.
I think it should have been like, I don't know, Jeremy Irons or freaking the Man in Black from Westworld, like somebody older, like just. Because he was just like lackluster, like he's young, like this is really the guy who, with no security, and like John Wick could have killed everybody in that place if he wanted to. Like that's a notion that I got, like, right? There's nothing telling me
they weren't scared because they left his gun in his belt. So
they did, yeah.
They're like, we ain't scared of you. So apparently, I was like, oh, maybe they're better than they think they are. I don't know.
And then, he gives a sacrifice to get back into the good graces.
Which was pointless because, well, in a way, because then he makes a decision later that negates the fact that he made that sacrifice. So it was like,
that whole, I like that they gave him a hammer, though, just in case he used the hammer. He's just like, nope. But yeah, once he gets back to America, that's when I get back in. I'm back in because, like I said, I checked out during that whole Arabian Night sequence.
Did you think it was odd that they had a suit ready for him to go? Like,
yes.
Tailored and
yes.
perfect.
Like I said, that entire sequence, I was out. Like, I'm like, really? Why do they have a fucking suit there?
You might as well just have a Batman suit or something. Yeah. Like here you go.
We
don't know who's coming, but if it's you, we got a suit for you.
Perfectly cut. And how does that guy like get messages out, like to give orders to the high table? Like, how does his adjudicators know what to do? And I don't know.
I guess he just trusted the adjudicators because basically she just made the decision.
Yeah,
that was
John Wick is now excommunicado. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I didn't really like that when they do that. There's this office building somewhere with all these tattooed folks.
I always thought that was the Continental.
Yeah,
because it's like there's a big like sign down there that says the Continental.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I always thought it was like the basement or something of the Continental, but I guess it's not. And apparently the Riddler's down there from Gotham.
I just thought that whole thing was a little
Yeah, I'd spend the night down there though. Some of them chicks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And then they use like, I get it, they have to be encrypted, but all that stuff goes to modern phones anyway. So how is it encrypted? How does that whole system work? Did you like the train station sequence though?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't anything like just brilliant.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
I like how he's one of yours. There he was. Then we get the other motorcycle scene, which I thought was pretty cool. But that guy had John dead to rights.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't at the Continental and the concierge didn't step out,
right,
John would have died.
Basically.
Right there. And that happened a couple times where John would have died in this movie if people weren't like overly impressed by him or saved his life. But yeah, he gets in the Continental. He's supposed to he got a mission to kill Winston, who is his friend. And he was going to do it until Mr. Smooth Silver Tongue Winston talks his way out of it. Which I'm fine with. I get it. They were friends. I understand that. You good with that, or how did?
It was. I mean,
because he just cut his finger off and confessed that
I didn't like that he made that sacrifice, and it was like all for like not basically, and then he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna. Well, it's too wishy washy, flippy floppy. He's just going back and forth. He should be a man of iron principles, and he makes a decision, and that's what he's gonna do. Mm-hmm. Even if it's for wrong, I mean.
But I guess he decided he was going to live for love, but then he doesn't decide he's not going to live for love.
It's like make up your mind.
But the action that ensues, oh my Lord!
I do feel a little smoking aces about this because they start to pull this massive build up, like super massive build up, and then you don't really get anything that much different than you've seen previously. You know, so except for now they're wearing armor and you have to shoot them a whole lot more.
Which was, I enjoyed that. I love how he had to like constantly shoot and like just to throw them off balance just to get underneath the mask or, you know. Yep. And then that fucking, the 12 gauges, dear Lord. That first guy's head that goes off. But I see what you're saying, though. Yeah. Like
there was this huge buildup, but I don't think it was I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was as epic as they were like, you know, teasing us that it was about to be.
Yeah. One by far is still the best.
Yes.
But as far as action goes, freaking 10 out of 10 for me still for this one.
Yes.
And then the ending though throws you for a loop. But I mean, I guess they had to set up for part 4 somehow. So
it's like I'm still on the fence about like whether or not Winston knew he was going to survive or not. Because I feel like he maybe thought he was going to survive.
I feel
if
like
anybody could survive that, Rick could. But then he shoots him, which is fine. But then he falls off a building. So it's like you can't predict whether or not someone's going to survive that.
And he didn't know. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was going to try and justify it with the whole extended roof there, but it's still, even then, like the way he bounced off that fire escape, and there's really no way you can know somebody's going to survive that. Let's go ahead and get into and of course, as we said in the entertainment news, they set it up for part 4, which I'm fine with. Of course, I'll be there front and center. It's going to be an all-out revenge tale, just like part 1 was. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of 3, we were left in the same place as we started at the beginning of 3, or the end of 2, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right,
I feel like we're in the same spot.
It is not a standalone.
It's just this middle thing. You could almost, in a way, like I don't know what the next movie is going to be exactly, but you can almost take 3 out and the story would still flow.
Yeah.
You almost didn't need it. So it's
kind of like the Infinity War Endgame. Like, the more I think about, and not that they're bad, or not that I'm comparing the 2 movies, but like, I think Infinity War and Endgame could be one continuous movie. It's just like I feel about this and part 2 and part 3 of this. Like, they can be one continuous movie, and 4 is gonna clearly flow right into, right from part 3. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's almost like the Matrix movies. The first one, almost in a way, you could say is a standalone, kind of like the first Wick, and on an epic level, which spawned all these, sequels. But now, and the same thing with the Matrix, they made those last, couple together, basically. So the flow together, and they're doing the same thing with the Wick movies. They're just, piling them on top of one another to complete the story.
I was not disappointed though. I can't say. I mean.
I was disappointed with the story, but like I said, now with the action is top notch. It's and I thought about it. I'm like, so do I like this movie or do I not like this movie? So it was a hard choice to make, because I'm thinking, well, you know what? This is an action movie.
Yes. At its core, it is action. Yeah.
So you go to an action movie to see action. You don't necessarily go to be bedazzled by or befuddled by a story and then, be surprised at the end. Usually it's just action is action. I mean, there are movies that are action that step above that normal tier of action movie and do something amazing, like the first John Wick did.
Yes.
But then there's just flat out action, and that's kind of how I feel this movie is. So if you go into it just thinking, this is going to be a great action movie, then you're going to get exactly that.
Mm-hmm. And I, like I said, I am a world builder guy, and I know the Continental series is coming, so I enjoy this movie on that level, knowing full well that they're digging so much deeper into this world and setting up that. So I enjoyed it on another level because of that. So I overlooked. I guess, yeah, but I enjoyed it overall. Overall, I enjoyed every aspect of it except the desert stuff. I had a blast. We skipped over the 2 little Asian guys, who once again could have killed him. But he returned the favor with those 2 at least and did not kill them.
Right. How many times can you get kicked through a glass case? That didn't make any sense to me. Like, story-wise,
pissed me off.
Like, so you can get kicked through a glass case in this place that's supposed to be like bulletproof. So
Yes.
when he wants to shoot somebody, they can just stand behind a pane of glass and the bullets won't go through. But if you kick somebody, they'll go crashing through whatever glass is around.
And they did it like 8 times.
They did it too many times.
It's like, we get it.
It's like they did all those like takes, and they're like, "How many are we going to use of that in the movie?" And somebody was just like, "All of them."
Yeah. Break all the cases with the glass skulls in it, because they didn't use those in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. So Rotten Tomatoes gave this 89% fresh, 91% audience score. Sir, go watch or not for you.
Like I said, if you want to go see an awesome action movie, then definitely go watch.
I'll say the same. 1 and 2, I think, especially 1, far superior movie. I love the action. I made the comment in the episode You Can't Stop the Wick or whatever it was. I made the comment that John Wick Keanu Reeves isn't the guy that you hire for big monologues. Mm-hmm. And this movie, I think, proved it, because like his diet, if you go back and listen to all of his dialogue, he says maybe 5 sentences the entire movie. It's like, so John, are you pissed?
Yeah.
Hey John, was it a good fight? Yeah.
I'll be seeing you later, John. No, you won't.
No, you won't. Yeah. So, but yeah, action movie wise, John Wick Parabellum, fantastic. You can't beat the action in this movie with a stick. Maybe with a gun if you're John Wick, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So definitely go watch, especially if you're fans of the first 2. It adds to that story, and I think it only extends it. And like I said, I'm super excited to see how much they explore the underbelly more, because I want to learn so much more about this high table. I cannot wait for the Continental series to learn more about that.
Yeah, I'm not. If there's a 4, I mean, there's gonna be a 4, but I just don't want to see him running around the desert or on a camel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I don't want to get to that point where it becomes a hokey.
Yeah,
but
unless he goes and kills that guy, that's the only time I want to see him in the desert. Like, you kill the guy over the high table, yeah. But otherwise, stay the fuck away from deserts. And bring Halle Berry and her dogs back.
Absolutely, I hope so.
So where you can find us at gowatchamovie.com. All the movie news is up there, and the trailers that we mentioned, I will try and get Robert's Freak trailer up there. Gowatchamovie.com and anywhere podcasts can be found. Thank you, WatchBot, for coming back. We missed you. You're a big help. You bring class to this show. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
And I am WatchBot.
Go watch a movie.
And fuck you, Kelvin.